5 things I do on my listings that other realtors advise against. Hi everyone, my name is Edana Kiernan. I'm the broker and owner of Vintage American Realty, a boutique real estate brokerage in Long Island, New York, as well as a New York State instructor of real estate license qualifying and continuing education courses. As I've said before in my previous videos, most of my videos will fall into one of 3 categories: realtor education, home buyer education, and home seller education. So my video today may not necessarily be 5 things I do on my listings, but 5 things that other real estate agents explicitly advise against that I do not agree with. This video may not only be helpful or informative to real estate agents, but to home sellers as well. So here we go. Number 1, most realtors will advise you to have no professional photos or galleries up on your walls. I'm sure most of us have heard that real estate agents tend to advise against leaving up any personal photos in your house when selling, specifically for the reason that they say a buyer does not want to see the photos of you and your family, and that it actually hinders your home sale because they then cannot envision themselves in the home, as in they would be able to do so if your pictures were not there. I totally disagree with this one. I think there's no way that pictures of a current homeowner on a wall is preventing any prospective home buyers from seeing themselves there. Instead, I think that whether or not you should take your pictures down really just depends on what is generally always the most important thing in making your home marketable, just the design and the aesthetic and condition. So if you have photos or galleries up that look like this, then yes, I'm going to recommend you take them down, simply because they don't look great. The space in general would look better without them, and sometimes less is more, which is the case for that last photo. However, if you have photos or galleries that look like this, then I'm going to suggest you leave them up. I think they make the space look better, and much like staging a home, they help the buyer envision what they can have there if they were to live there. So this one really comes down to having an eye for design and general good taste. Number 2, coming soon listings. So I'm not sure how similar this one is market to market, but about 3 years ago in our market here, they created a new status for listings, and that status was coming soon. So instead of listing a home and starting showings, you could now list a home with the status coming soon and keep it that way for 2 weeks with no showings. Showings are not allowed at all during a coming soon. I guess the idea was that it allows the home to be listed while sellers are preparing for the home, but I hate coming soon. I really do not get the point of listing a home before it's ready to be shown. And in my experience, what happens is that the agents or buyers see the home when it's listed. They want to see it right away, of course, and then they realize that it won't actually be shown for 2 weeks. And then it gets forgotten about and sent into the abyss. I will write it down or print it out and leave it on the side of my desk, because most of the time they're also not ready to schedule the showings in advance, and then it just gets lost in a pile of papers and kind of forgotten about. Now, I'm sure that what some people will say to that is that, well, it'll still sell. They still always see them sell. And of course, yes, because everything is selling right now. So yes, the home will get sold. I've also heard many other agents say that they think this is just a way for some unethical agents to show the home to their own buyers or unrepresented buyers, even though that is not allowed. And basically the home is sold before any other realtors get a chance to show it. So I never like to throw things out there like that. I try to only add value and uplift others in my profession, but unfortunately on this one, I kind of have to agree. So I know many agents may like doing a coming soon status, but for me personally, I find them to be a waste of time. Coming soons are a hard no for me, and just list a house when it's ready to be listed. Number 3, professional photos to come or no professional photos at all. Again, I'm not really sure how common this is in every market, but in our market, there are so many agents that list a home with the professional photos, without the professional photos ready, and they will post one unprofessional photo of the exterior of the house, and then the next photo will say professional photos to come. Or even worse, some listings do not do professional photos at all. So to deal with the first part, listing a house as professional photos to come, what is the point? Why wouldn't you just wait until you have those professional photos? What is the rush in listing with a difference of a day or 2, maybe 3, to wait for those photos? The number 1 reason for me being that you only get one chance to make a first impression. Make it a great one and make it right away. Secondly, it's similar to coming soon. Your listing will only come out for the first time one time. If you have no photos of the interior or very limited photos of the interior because you're waiting for professional photos to come, then your listing will be forgotten by a lot of people. People are going through new listings every day, and within a few seconds, they'll make a choice on whether your listing is one that they're interested in seeing or not. And just like coming soon, yes, I'm sure your listing will sell because they all do sell, but honestly, why lose any buyers at all for something that's so silly? And to address the second part of this issue, listings that have no professional photos at all, I don't even have much to say about that, because other than a rental, I would never list a home without professional photos. You have one job, one obligation to your sellers, which is to sell the house. And if you cannot get professional photos done, I honestly have no idea why a client would work with you. And I'm sorry to be so blunt, but that's the truth. Professional photos bring so many more people through your seller's doors, and they make you as a real estate agent look like a true professional. Number 4, the seller being home for showings. Now, this one I know is really going to vary within the markets, and I know agents will not agree with me, but so many agents think it is just the worst thing for a seller to be home for a showing. I do, however, disagree. I know in some markets it's totally unheard of for a seller to be present, and that I understand and respect, but here it's really common. This is not to say that it's ideal in every situation, but when I think it works best is when your seller knows a lot about their home, which, believe it or not, a lot of sellers don't, and they have put a lot into the home, and they're in general just a pleasant person or pleasant people. And so let me explain. Listings that are completely updated, renovated, beautifully decorated and designed, they don't need any help selling. So for that, it probably is best that the sellers are not there for those type of listings, as I find that in this crazy seller's market, buyers all want to talk to them and they kind of hope to stand out in some way and get them noticed and get their offer chosen. So in that situation, that's probably just overwhelming and kind of exhausting for sellers. But for the maybe not the most perfect ideal listing ever, I think having a seller present for showings can help the listing. I know that some agents may not be comfortable with their seller client meeting alone with other agents, which that I do understand, but for most of my owner occupied listings, I am present for all showings, so that's not really an issue for me. I think that having, again, a pleasant seller present kind of reminds buyers that an actual human is selling this house. It's not strictly a business transaction. It's being sold by a person who has maybe lived there for 20 or 30 years, or someone who grew up in that house, who loves the house and put their all into it. When a seller is there to explain things or to answer all the buyer's questions, I feel like many buyers get a sense of relief. It's not some unknown entity that's trying to hide things and screw them over at every turn, but a real person who cared for this home. Again, I understand that this particular item may not be something that we all agree on, and that's okay. Lastly, number 5, open house protocol. I think that this one might be the most controversial of all, but I will never understand why some agents will require other agents to accompany their buyers at their open house with no exceptions. Now, hear me out. Yes, I know that the basic premise is that most agents hold open houses for the purpose of securing a buyer, not necessarily for the house they're hosting, but for securing another buyer client in general. And they feel that other agents sending their buyers to your open house is lazy and making you do all the work for their buyers. I totally disagree with this notion. Your main concern in any real estate transaction should always be, what is the best thing for my client? So is stopping another buyer from coming to your open house helping or hurting your seller client? Is giving another agent a hard time with this particular property helping or hurting your seller client? The answer, in my opinion, is of course it's hurting them. You're holding the open house either way, and the main purpose should be to find your client a buyer, not yourself. As far as thinking that the other agent is being lazy, I mean, like I said, you're going to be there either way. But on top of that, haven't we all had clients that just wake up on a Saturday or Sunday and they feel like going to an open house? They may not want to bother you that day, or maybe they just want to go maybe they want to go without you despite how many times you tell them that you will accompany them. Or if you've already bought a house, can't you relate to just feeling like going to an open house that day, maybe not necessarily dragging your agent along? I do, as a courtesy, if I know that my client wants to go and I'm not able to, I will contact the client ahead of time to make sure it's okay, and of course always send them with my card. But this is something that I have never agreed with, and I really don't see myself changing my mind anytime soon. I am super curious about what you think, if other real estate agents agree, disagree, your thoughts, etc. I would love to see them in the comments to discuss. And even home sellers or buyers, if you have any opinions on these items I brought up, I don't know if they were ever on your radar before, but I would love to hear your thoughts on them. If you found this video interesting or helpful and you would like to be notified when I upload another, please like and subscribe and sign up for the alerts. Thanks for watching.